My name is Jackie Harper, and I think the most intelligent people in the world are modern artists, because they are the biggest con artists without us knowing it. And I say this because about a month ago, Colin, my boyfriend, and I went to the Museum of Fine Arts, and we're walking around, and there are some modern paintings. But before we get there, we're walking around, we're going, and we see some classic paintings. There are some Monets, some Van Goghs, and then we walk into this room, and there's a 50-foot high ceiling, it's a completely white room, and then there are 3 canvases. There's a solid orange canvas, a solid orange canvas, and a solid red canvas. And what I find more amazing that these are even hanging in a museum are the people standing around in amazement and in awe. And I'm just thinking, I made this stuff in kindergarten. And so then I've decided, Ginger has joined me, we are going to become modern artists. And whatever we feel, that is our art. And this is how we're going to pay our way through college. But unfortunately, I know that plan will fail. And I'll probably have a more successful career in theater for one reason alone, and it has nothing to do with talent. It is the fact that gay men love me. And I can't explain this, except I've tried to. And then I told Colin this, and he didn't believe me. And so then 3 instances occurred where I proved it to him. And the first one would be on one of the show nights for Little Shop. Miss Crocker came up to me and said, "Hey Jackie, can you run backstage and tell Mr. Prue we're ready to start Act 2? So I go backstage, and I find Mr. Prue, and I'm like, "Oh, hey Mr. Prue, Miss Crocker's ready to start Act 2. And he's like, "Okay, thanks Jackie." So I go sit back down in the house, and a few minutes later, Mr. Prue walks from backstage, and he sees me, he goes, "Oh, hi Jackie." And I was like, "Hi Mr. Prue." He goes, "I knew I'd find you, my little Mr. Prue finder." Yeah, and so I just looked at Colin and I said, "There's one." So then the next occurrence, I applied for NYU at the beginning of this semester, or the beginning of senior year, knowing I would not get accepted. I do not have the grades to qualify to go to NYU, but half of the application is an audition, and if I have any hope at all, it would lie in the audition. So my audition was here in Houston, and I go there, and there are 2 people auditioning, and that would be a woman and a gay man. And I was praying to God that the gay man would call my name on his list, and he did. And I'm now on the wait list, which is pretty amazing. The third instance, Colin's friend Vinny and Vinny's brother Cale recently moved into an apartment together. And Cale is very over-the-top gay, and I had never met Cale before in my life. And so they have a housewarming party, and Colin and I decided to get them housewarming gifts. And Colin bought them 3 of those Mexican candles that you find at the gas station. And I decided to buy them a decorative plastic squirrel. So I arrived at the party, and Colin hands me the Mexican candles, and I have the squirrel behind my back, and I go, "And here's your decorative squirrel!" And Cale, who I've never met before, looks at me and goes, "I love you!" And he gives me this gigantic hug, and I just turned to Colin, and I was like, "I told you." But gay men also have this thing with me where they love not calling me Jackie. It's never just Jackie, it's Jackie Poo or Wacky Jackie. So that made me, I started thinking, where do names come from? And that led me to the thought of, where do country names and city names come from? And they're usually named after the people who founded them. And then I began wondering, what would it be like to meet these people? And who would I not, and who would I like to meet? Such as, I would not like to meet Mr. Algeria, or Mr. Chad, but I would like to meet Mr. Venezuela, or Mr. Bangkok. Now, Mr. Bangkok, that led me to wonder, is there a Mrs. Bangkok, and how popular is she? And is there a Mr. Bangkok, which obviously, because that's who it's founded after, and if so, is he one of my people? And, yeah. And so, anyways, this past summer, I got to go to New York. My mother took me. And I got to see Spring Awakening, which I begged her to see, knowing that Spring Awakening was a completely inappropriate show to take my mother to. There's an abortion, there's teen suicide, there's sex on stage. And the reason I asked her to take me is because my summer crush was the lead of the show. His name's Jonathan Groff. And in the show, you get to see his backside. And so we're on the orchestra level, but we're in the very back row, and so when the play is over, I knew where the stage door was, and so I run out to the back of the stage door, and I'm just waiting, and I'm waiting for Jonathan Groff to come out. And the other cast members, they come out, I get their signatures, no big deal. But then here comes Jonathan Groff, my summer crush. And in my head, I'm just planning everything to say to him. I want to say the most seductive, most intelligent, witty comment I could possibly say to make this man instantly fall in love with me. And so I just look at him. Cute butt. And then my mother, she just instantly goes, Jackie! And then Jonathan goes, thank you. And so then I realized it really doesn't matter what I say to people. So today, I'm going to end you with the funniest word in the English language. And that is the word thimble. Because it sounds like the word symbol with a lisp. Thimble. Thank you.